made a very punk movie, Maggie, very powerful. The idea to relocate the story to Chicago in the 30s, it was yours idea? And do you remember when it came up?
Um, yeah. Well, I had originally, as I was writing, I'd set the movie just as I was moving through the script in post-Civil War America, 1870s. And I did that because it was a time where many, many people had died. And in fact, many men had died in the war, and women were looking for a way to make money. And one of the things they did was become what was called spiritualists. And
Hmm.
spiritualists were women who you would pay to speak to your dead for you. And there were so many of them. And I thought, what an interesting idea, what an interesting time to set a movie about people being brought back from the dead. But then I also simultaneously, or at some point as I was writing, realized Frankenstein, my Frank, is so lonely that I wanted his primary relationship to be with a movie star, like so that he loved this movie star, but of course, this movie star didn't know who he was. He just would go watch him in the movies. And so then I realized, well, if I want that, I have to set the movie at a time when there were movies. So I flipped it to the 30s, and I did that because the movies of the 30s are so much about fantasy.
Uh-huh.
And this movie is actually about the opposite of that. It's about finding the reality, the monstrous, the
The
real
truth.
humanity, the truth, exactly. So I liked it. I liked my monstrous lovers bouncing off of the fantasy of the 30s. So
And you know
yes,
what?
it was my idea.
You know what, Maggie? Watching the movie, I realized the power of good stories. Of you can retell them, and people can relate to them still nowadays, like The Bride. You know what I mean? Uh, in my perception, it has many homage to many things of cinema, like, for example, the musicals, in black and white, Bonnie and Clyde, which is a film that I love very much. But this movie is very unique. And congratulations, because I bet it was a very difficult one to make. First of all, to get finance and then to make it.
Hmm. Um, it was, of course, it was difficult because it's new. And it's saying things that are new and also in a new way. And sometimes that's scary to people. But I also
Mhm.
think it's the thing that's ultimately the most exciting. Um, you were talking about getting it financed. The truth is that I was working with a studio that is interested in making things that are new, and also a studio that has as one of its co-heads a woman who read this script about another woman and recognized probably in some ways, her own experience in it. And so, yes, of course it was hard. We used to call it hard work heaven.
Mhm. Jesse Buckley and Christopher and Christian Bale, they were no-brainers, They're like the perfect couple, for your movie.
I agree. They are.
How it is to direct them? How's the experience to direct these powerful people on the set, larger than life?
Well, I think the thing that's so incredible about them is, yes, their power and their scope, but really more than anything, it's their humanity. And I had worked with Jesse before on The Lost Daughter. We knew each other well, and we had worked together in this capacity, director and actress, and we just jumped right back into the river. With Christian, although yes, of course, I had worked with him before on The Dark Knight, it was so different. And here, in order for this role to work, I mean, I needed my Frank to be vulnerable, so intelligent, also monstrous, violent, full of rage, also sexy, a lover, also so naive. All of these things, I needed from Christian. And so it was almost like meeting him anew when we worked together here, because we had to really become friends. We had to really be intimate in order for him to feel comfortable sharing all of those things inside of the movie.
Maggie, congratulations on the movie.
Heraldo Podcast, un lugar para tus oídos.